Hi everyone, Michelle McClunan here, astrologer and life coach, and I'm bringing you an update on the next solstice solar eclipse that we have, which is happening on Sunday, the 21st of June. And I'm calling it the mother of all eclipses because it really is the mother of all eclipses, and I'll try and explain why. So every month we have a new moon, which we're all aware of, which is a time to plant new seeds and starts a new lunar cycle. A new moon is often what we call a solar eclipse, and this one is a solar eclipse. It's the second of 3 eclipses. So we had a lunar eclipse 2 weeks ago. On Sunday we have a solar eclipse, and then in 2 weeks' time we have another lunar eclipse. Now, in addition to this being a solar eclipse and new moon, which is very powerful, it's also the solstice. It's the day of the solstice. It's known as the day when the sun stands still. That's what solstice means, which means it's a turning point. So that on its own is quite potent. It's also the day when the sun moves into the sign of Cancer. And that's got its own energy, which I'm actually going to go into with you. But really at an eclipse, at a solar eclipse like this, this is basically what we call an annular eclipse, which means that the moon covers the sun, but not completely. So there's a sort of a ring of fire around it. And that's known as the ring of fire, and it's also known as the corona, which is quite interesting, or a halo. And it's really a very, very powerful portal. The classics saw it as an incredibly powerful portal, which they were quite scared of, because for that brief time, the sun would sort of disappear. And they saw that as a very big omen. But it's also a portal through which new energies can flow in, and everything is amplified, like much more. So the other way of looking at a solar eclipse is that the moon, which goes across the sun, symbolically is that the feminine vanquishes the masculine. Now that's wherever the sun is and wherever the moon is, whatever sign it's in, that's the case. But this one more so because it's in the sign of Cancer, which is the feminine. It's known as the divine feminine. So it's really, this is at the 0 point as well. Another point of this is that it's at the 0 point of Cancer, 0, 0, which is what we call a cardinal point, which is an incredibly powerful point. In addition to that, it's also conjunct, which means that it's right next to the node of the moon. So this is a biggie. It's a very big opportunity. We also this year have 2 new moons in Cancer, which is more. And the Venus, which is a feminine planet, has just risen in the morning sky, and she's starting a brand new cycle. So what does this all mean? Well, first of all, Cancer as a sign, so that the sun moves into Cancer from Sunday, the moon joins her, and then they start that cycle. Cancer as a sign is a water sign, but it's a cardinal water sign, which a lot of people think that water and people who have got a lot of water in their charts are very sensitive, are weak. And this is not the case. This is a complete misunderstanding. It's also almost categorizing the feminine as weaker than the masculine, which is not true. And I'm not talking here about male and female, so please don't get me wrong. This is about the masculine and feminine within us all, okay? So cardinal water, if you can picture, cardinal water would be like a waterfall. Picture Victoria Falls. It's the power of water. So this is a very, very powerful moment in our histories. I just want to read you something on water, because a lot of time when I'm counseling people on sensitivity, where they are, say, Cancerian or Piscean or one of the water signs, they often are told that they shouldn't be so sensitive, that they shouldn't be so emotional, that they should harden up, toughen up. And I see this as a big problem in our society. It's one of the things that is turning and changing right now. So this was written by a Chinese scholar in the 11th century. And he says, water is yielding, but all conquering. Water extinguishes fire, or finding itself likely to be defeated, escapes as sea, and reforms. Water washes away soft earth, or, when confronted by rocks, seeks a way around. It saturates the atmosphere so that wind dies. Water gives way to obstacles with deceptive humility, for no power can prevent it following its course, its destined course to the sea. Water conquers by yielding. It never attaches, but it always wins the last battle. And this is the theme for not only the next month, but for our times right now. I've spoken at length about all that's happening in the planets, and Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter, all moving through the sign of Capricorn, opposite the sign of Cancer. And what I'm seeing this really as is many different things, but we've been given an opportunity on our planet right now to embrace the feminine. And this has been going on for a long time, and the repression of the feminine within us is what's led us to this time that we find ourselves in. The feminine is all-inclusive. It's non-dual. It's chaotic, but it's actually the force that unites everything. And right now, as can be seen on our planet, it's the opposite. So everyone's polarized. We are stopping true connection between people, true heart-based connection, looking at each other and hugging someone, touching somebody. So our femininity, our feminine power is busy being extinguished to a degree. And I see this as an opportunity for us to actually come together in love, to connect at a heart-based level, because that is what's going to save us on this planet. It's honoring our differences, not polarizing us further. It's saying that everybody matters, every life matters, honoring all the colors of the rainbow, honoring our emotions, our feelings, which is something that's been repressed for years in many of us. And this eclipse and this eclipse season and this time that we find ourselves in, I kind of see it as I wrote a little blog the other day, which you can look back on my Facebook page and have a look at. It really is the time of transformation. And what is transformation? Transformation is when the old dies, so that the new can be reborn. But in the process of that death, there's distraction, there's dissolution, there's the old no longer works, so it has to dissolve. And in that dissolving, there's a sense of chaos. And that sense of chaos is often very scary for us, because we want to know where we're going, we want to know what's happening, what's going to be the outcome. And none of us know that right now. So we've been called upon to go to a deeper level. I keep saying this, I know it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but it really is the theme. Go inside. Find your stability and your strength and your sense of power from inside, not from outside. The outside world isn't giving it to us at the moment, and might not for a long time to come. This is a process. It's not over. We're in the middle of it. And there's still a lot to be revealed. So I just see this as a time where we are sensitizing, when we are becoming more emotionally aware of what's going on for us. Hopefully, we're becoming more compassionate with ourselves and with each other. What's going on for this person? How do they feel? Yes, they're behaving in an angry way, but what's going on underneath that? What's creating that anger? What inside them doesn't feel safe or secure, and they're reacting or projecting in anger? And I'm sure most of us have experienced that over the last few months. This is also about, and there are many other things happening which kind of reinforce what I'm saying. It's about breaking free from ancient conditioning. Cancer is the sign of family, homeland, family conditioning, nurturing, mothering, the sense of safety, the sense of security, our actual mothers. So it brings up all of those themes. Where do you find that sense of security? Do you find it in your home? Do you find it in your country? Do you find it with your partner? And go deeper. So this eclipse might very well bring up stuff from the past. So I'm just giving you a heads up on that. Anything that you may have repressed, and we've all got repressed emotions somewhere, might come up. And it could come up in a physical way. So it could come up through your physical body. If it does, really look to see possibly where something has been repressed from a long time ago. It's about honoring the feminine, honoring the creative, the intuitive, honoring the process rather than the outcome. So it's not saying the masculine is wrong. It's saying we're trying to get balance here, integrating the masculine and the feminine within us. And it often plays out as polarized, as polarization. So separating the masculine and the feminine, separating different people of different color and persuasions, rather than bringing them together. So that's what I'm seeing, is the more that we can hold ourselves in a place of safety, the more we can nurture ourselves, the more we can be present for ourselves, hold space for ourselves, the more we'll be able to do that for other people as well. So just this weekend, I would say, take good care of yourself. Make sure you've got some warm, lovely food to eat. Take some time out to just really be. You know, if you need to lie on a couch and read a book, do that. If you need to sleep, do that. See if you can mother yourself. And maybe mother whoever else is in your life that might need mothering. Let the feelings flow. Don't hold them back. I think that this is a possible, very big chance for breakthrough. And if you're the kind of person that holds feelings back because they don't feel comfortable or they feel scary, see if you can just breathe into them and let them be there and let them wash through you rather than damming them up. Because if you dam them up, they are going to actually, that dam's going to burst at some point. And if you allow yourself just to feel the feeling in the moment of that feeling, it flows through you. And whatever that feeling is, if you can just be there for, this is what's arising. There's sadness or there's anger. And what's underneath that anger? If I go a little bit deeper and let that be there, what's there? I posted something which I saw on Facebook the other day of a man sitting on the floor with his child. It was so touching. He sat there for, apparently it was about 45 minutes. The video isn't that long. And the child was having a complete meltdown. It was a toddler. And he just sat there and waited and allowed that child to be right in the middle of that meltdown. And it was probably one of the most nurturing things I've ever seen. And eventually the child came to him, and eventually he stopped crying. It took a long time. So I'm saying, can we hold that space for ourselves? Can we find compassion for the people out there that are fighting? Can we send our light and our love and our compassion into those situations rather than judging them as wrong or evil or bad or disgusting? Can we rather just find some compassion in our hearts, because there's hurt and pain underneath all of these reactions, and fear. So can we embrace love as opposed to fear? Can we feed that love with our love so it gets brighter and stronger, and so that the light vanquishes the darkness? I think that's our role. So this is going to pack a bit of a wallop globally. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in America, because America has a very Cancerian overlay in their chart. And the last one of the past times where there was a major eclipse in Cancer was followed by the 9/11 event. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what happens there. This is a turning point. It's a time for us to reform the way we've been behaving in the past. It's a time to come together and not to polarize anymore. So I invite you to do that. We're going to be doing a meditation on Sunday night on Facebook. So it'll be on John's page. I'll put the link beneath this video. So we're going to be chatting a little bit about this and leading you through a solstice meditation and a new moon solar eclipse meditation. So have a good weekend. Nurture yourself. Nourish yourself. Be gentle with yourself. Be the mother to yourself. Give yourself what you need. Lots of love and thanks for listening.